Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bus Stop, the time that we look at what happened in the last episode. We just named it. Just Inside Baseball, that just happened. We just decided this is called the Bus Stop, so we're going to rework. Anyways, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, we're going to retcon the rest. Yeah. Welcome to Bus Stop. We are halfway through the adventure.
Bus stop.
Yeah.
Bus stop.
But really plain.
My mom drops me off at the bus stop every day.
Oh my god.
The butt stop?
That's the after show.
That's a late, yeah,
That's gonna cost
after
you
dark show.
$2.99
Yeah, bus stop after dark. Oh dear.
We're delirious. It's 15 minutes of us just fucking cracking up.
Yeah.
You thought you,
Oh my God.
you thought you knew what this was?
Yeah.
Think again.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're halfway there. We've got 12 hours left of the campaign, or the adventure. I shouldn't say campaign, for season 1, and awesome episode. And some really great narrative beats mixed with combat.
Combat.
Awesome.
First
You guys had some combat before,
It's not.
but you did have a little bit of combat. But this is the first big one.
This is the big one.
This is the first big one.
Yeah.
We fought a fire once.
Yeah, you fought some stuff.
Fought a
Yeah.
fire with your head.
Yep. True.
Yeah.
I just ran through. I didn't really finish.
But awesome flashback moments, awesome backstory kind of reaches and deep dives. Let's talk about that. Now, again, remembering that at the table, the players know that. Characters do not know that knowledge, some of them, because it was spoken about in private. But just talking about those crazy reveals and how the rest of the table feels about the things that they heard or saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for Dara at least, I had just before that moment, really revealed information about Gildy and having grown up in Sire and, to have that flashback. I mean, like, Gildy is a real person for Kassidy, in real life. So it was nice to finally kind of have that come to fruition through Dara. And, I got a little emotional, talking about it. It was I think, really lovely to just kind of have a brief moment of Dara having to feel that emotion.
Sure.
Very much so.
Yeah, I thought it was a really powerful moment.
Yeah, it was lovely.
And honestly, thank you for, that it can be very, and we talked about it before, it can be very vulnerable, especially putting your own memories into D&D. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been friends with you for a long time. I knew there was a correlation. I didn't know it was exactly the same person. So
Gildy is Gladys, my great grandmother who raised me from age 2 on, and she passed away November 2021. So at age 99.
Wow.
So
dude,
Yeah.
well, run. Thank you.
that's for you.
Thank you for trusting me, not just to renegade for you, but trusting me with information that is so special and so vulnerable for you. So
Yeah,
that means
of
a lot
course.
as a DM.
Sure does. Some other big moments, big deep dive flashback moments.
This guy.
Yeah, Knarf.
This guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We learned
a
some
ton
stuff
of
about Knarf this time.
Knarf really, I think, feels like he said a little too much.
Okay.
And because this is the first time really that I didn't have my own composure. I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be in the pocket the entire time. I wasn't trying to think my way out of it. I was completely mindless in this situation, and that was a wild one. Nirikov, my brother, he's an analog for quite a few things. I've been doing this job for almost 20 years now, the actual tattooing part of it, and I think everyone here can contest that when you want to get good at something, it becomes your life. And when that happens, other things that are a part of your life don't really get a chance to take part in your life. And, it's like I started tattooing when I was 17, and there's a lot of things that I know could have been different if I would have just treated it like a job instead of treated it like my life. And I'm very, very happy for everything that's come of it and everything that's happened. But with Knarf, I feel like I kind of get the chance to explore the other side of that.
Yeah.
Very good. And we felt it, especially with the scream at the end, or the war cry.
Yeah.
Which leads me to combat. This was your first big combat.
Yeah,
All
it
of you.
was. Right?
This was your moment and your first kill. How did that, like,
first combat.
in Dungeons and Dragons, like, it's pretty big. How was that for you?
I mean, that was awesome, and it was incredibly like awesome because the first like 2 hours I was just getting my ass kicked, like by myself, by
You were
everybody
rolling
else.
so low on those wisdom
Yeah.
saves.
I know,
Yeah, I
right?
was rolling. I have like a really great like bonus with all of that, with having advantage, having bless, and having like a really high like addition to wisdom. And I just kept rolling like absolute garbage.
Yeah, that's the last time that Knarf stays up and paints all night. Like, you know, I was just raw dogging reality
See?
for way too long at the wrong time.
I mean, I
Right, you know?
legitimately thought that like Knarf was over the edge.
Yeah.
I was like, he's about to get dropped.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if that creature was to, get killed in air, the same thing would happen. Magvar comes in with that lasso of his and snatches them both and brings them on the board. That was iconic.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that without you.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anything that could do that, and it's awesome. Man.
I'm glad that worked out. I was really afraid. Like, I think everyone here maybe thought at least one point, like, are we gonna have to dive over the edge to
Yeah.
follow Knarf
100%.
down?
Oh yeah, that's why I thought it was
Oh, that's incredibly nice.
I thought that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Shit, I just thought I'd be like, hanging out somewhere until season 2 and have a side
Anyway,
just
you're
fighting through the morning lanes,
Get on out of here.
You do not have what it takes.
Right. Never heard that before.
Only a time or two, I guess.
Boy, it's spicy.
There it is. That's hilarious.
As someone who tries to build combats, and obviously, I mean, we're in episode 4. I don't tend to build like combats or games that are just built off swinging swords, even though that is completely a valid way to play.
Yeah.
But I want there to be like really heavy stakes, and despite no matter how much I would never want to see Knarf or anybody here die. Sometimes you're on the edge of a boat and someone drops you, and you're not having the wherewithal enough to come back. You never know.
Yeah.
But you had a group of people here willing to save you. I'm confident that something would have happened. I'm not sure what, because honestly, and I think a lot of the people here DM. I mean, obviously, and there's plenty of times where something's going on that you necessarily didn't fully expect, and you're like, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
lost the whole
I mean,
time.
that's the best part of Dungeons and Dragons combat is when it goes haywire and nothing seems to be going right, and then you have to kind of figure it out on the fly and be like, okay, you could do a deep dive into like your equipment. You're like, okay, so I got rope, and I've got like, and you start like, what do I have in here, or your
Like,
spell
what's in
list?
that
Like,
pack?
how can
Yeah,
I get
like,
creative? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it felt like that. It felt like things just kept happening, and you guys were rolling badly in some cases, and it was just about like really trying to make it work within what you had, and you made it work. And
Yeah, it
that's
was
epic.
awesome. It was a like moderate DC, 14 DC to save from that. But when almost everybody but 2 failed it, I was like, oh, this could actually go like that can death spiral so
I
quick.
think if either of us had failed our saves.
he never had to make a save. He was a warforged.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, if I fucked up my save, this would have been probably.
Could you imagine Magvar feeling more alone than having to try and snag and choose a friend? Or him just scattering on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You gotta start
Good job.
over. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for that. I'm not gonna say thank you for rolling well, but that was a really
Yeah, 'cause we didn't.
Because we did.
Yeah.
We did not.
Rolled
lot of us.
poorly.
I was like,
Yeah.
with advantage, I rolled like a 5 and a 3, and I was
That's
like,
something
oh.
you haven't gotten to experience yet either, because you had that kind of like magical like beginner's luck coming in D&D.
Yeah.
Where you're like try a couple things and they work, and you roll really hot. And you're like, man, this game's awesome, and then you are charmed for like 18 rounds. And you're like,
Yeah.
I hate this game.
It was wild, and like honestly,
That frustration comes with
it was fun though. Was
Yeah.
the thing like doing well is awesome, but like actually getting to experience the narrative and to really come up against some stuff. Because for a while there, it's like Frank's trying to be cool, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
shit, am I gonna have to
Yeah.
like hang out and just watch this game
Yeah.
from here on out?
Well, and this is, I guess, a tip, or I guess more intuition that I try to implement when I get games, because D&D is never fun for combat if you're not doing anything. So, but not doing anything and role playing are different. So if you're taking a turn away from a character by making them move, make it interactive for them. You know, give either a memory or, you know, make them interact with the world around them instead of just, all right, you move your 30 feet. Next step.
Next.
Yeah. You know, you try to make them feel included, because otherwise you kind of lose fun in the game. And I'm glad that you didn't feel that way.
I felt very included. Yeah, no, it felt awesome, and like, you know, even though it wasn't like, you know, necessarily like, you know, fun, it was like actually like this is what the full breadth of the game is
Still
about.
engaging.
Like I've experienced both sides now, and like I think I'm completely in. Like I just want to keep playing this forever. You know?
Yeah.
So good.
It's
Got
awesome.
him. We got him. He's hooked.
It's that quick.
Yeah.
We lured him over to the edge of the airship, and we've been breathing fog at him.
It's all of them.
Now that we're halfway through, and the story's unraveling, I always love to have the DM as like a fly on the wall when the players kind of try to figure out what's going on. Like, what pieces have you kind of like pieced together of like Hellbent not being around anymore and who's leading who? Like, what are sort of some of the clues and some of the threads that you're pulling on and that you're kind of putting together in your head regarding where the story's going?
I think I said a lot of that when I was role playing as Mickey. I'm definitely thinking that you know, there's some kind of thing with like swapping the bodies for immortality, of like harnessing the power of the Warforge, putting together this Voltron thing that might exist, this like big weapon that Magvar is Magvar.
Vagmar,
You just
he's
made up
an evil
joke
twin.
names, yeah. It's exactly just Magvar with a mustache.
Metal mustache.
Your evil twin mustache, brother.
Yeah.
Switch the catchphrase.
I think
something.
that was probably going to be a lot of steps towards like figuring out exactly what's going on, that how the brand is involved in that, and I think that she, as you know, this person who comes from working on Warforged, being an artificer in her background, that, you know, this is exactly in the line with everything she is, everything who she was, and everything who Mickey knew her as. So to think that, like, you know, obviously her and Mickey came from somewhere, and she is a super strong person. She didn't just, you know, become like a tattooer like that. She has a background in something. So I feel like there's going to be more of that to kind of uncover, and you know, I'm sure in tow it'll reveal more about Mickey too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, and how weird is it? Because, I mean, Hellbent, you've known her for a long time, but how weird is it to now know that there's so much depth beyond and before you even met her? And how, maybe unnerving, but how, like, unsettling is that? And, like, do I really know this person? Did I know this person? What was it like?
Yeah, I definitely felt a lot of that. I felt like maybe a little bit like I don't want to say betrayed, you know, because, you know, it's like I was, you know, like Knarf said, like, you know, she's been good to us, she's everybody at home, like, obviously, like, whatever happened to Mickey, he's been with us since she was so young, like, she's been, like, you know, his surrogate parent or whatever, you know, so, yeah, I think it's like when you find out, like, maybe you're adopted, or, like, you know, there's a part of your history, like, your grandmother isn't, you know, who she is, or some kind of thing, you know, like, there's just, I think, some kind of element to, like, that real life connection that Mickey's feeling, you know, about, you know, questioning his family and trust, and, you know, I think everybody can relate with that. With parents and stuff, you know?
Oh, love it. Love it.
I was gonna say, I picked up one thing about Yokai over here. It was interesting earlier.
Yokai, not that.
Well, it was interesting. I don't know if you meant to do it or not, or for whatever reason you did. But when you were shape-shifting and you turned into me, but like kind of imperfectly, like it was one of those things where I felt like you could have matched me perfect, but you are seeing things that everyone else isn't. And it looked like you walked over to me to show me the suit that I'm also wearing. And that was a weird little flash of like, I see you, you know? And given everything that happened this time and being like, you know, like charmed and out of my own, you know, gourd, I feel like I gave up more of my goat specifically to you because you saw it all happening than I had ever really planned to.
Love
I
it.
think it comes with just like learning stuff about your coworkers, you know, as you go.
Yeah.
That is kind of that, like, you know, I kind of gave it to you last time that I was like, you know, you look like you're starting to, like, you got some tattooer grit, and you're like, maybe you'll make it in this industry, you know, but it's like, you've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And like, same thing in D&D, it's like you have this natural raw talent, and it's just like pouring out in this game, and it's like there's so much more to do that it's like it's cool to have you along as like a newer tattooer, which feels silly in this game where it's like, hey, little dum-dum, you don't know how to set up your station. You know, we've been tattooing almost as long as we've been alive. You know, but it's just this really goofy thing to like just play this with like Frank and be like, you know, kind of have that tongue-in-cheek moment where it's like, yeah, look at you, you little whippersnapper. You know,
I love it so goddamn much.
it's really cool, and I think like Yokai and Frank are kind of developing some sort of kinship where it's like, I mean, I remember what it was like to be in my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And it feels like not that long ago, even though it was relatively 14 years ago.
Still
So
feels like yesterday, yeah.
yeah. If I could go back and play through my apprenticeship, I don't know if I would.
Oh,
But
oh boy.
you know,
That it would
It
be some
sounds cool.
therapy.
Right?
it sounds great.
you.
And you're very brave for doing that.
No, thank you.
Nope.
All right, well, that is a wrap on episode 4. Episode 5 is coming next week. Stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Take care of each other. Bye.